Hi, my friends, and welcome back to Magnolia Molasses. This is the Mississippi gardening video. Yes, today I am sowing some green beans. So you are going to sow with me, plant with me. I have a bed right here that I have been mixing in different things. I have cucumbers right here doing well. Over here I have some marigolds, and there's also some leftover kale in this bed from last year. Kale is biennial, so it comes back. Over here I have some tiger melons. Gotta love melons. Trellising them up to save space. Also have some sweet peas, snap peas right here, 2 rows of those. And I also planted, you can barely see them, some baby cabbages in this bed. So today I figured before the afternoon rain came that I would sow some green beans in this bed. Yes. So as you can see right here, I got my handy dandy stick-a-ma-doo, and I am outlining some areas that I'm thinking about sowing some bush beans in. These are the varieties of bush beans that I went into my seed arsenal and picked out. We have the Blue Lake 274 beans and also the contender beans. I only grow bush beans. I don't grow beans that trellis. Bush beans are another option besides trellising beans. You can plant them very densely and get a nice continual harvest on them. So let's go ahead and go with the Blue Lake 274 beans. So in about a month and a half, these beans should be producing. That is super awesome. Don't forget, we also need to water them in whenever we finish. I got a 2.5 gallon water bucket right here, and it's not filled all the way, just enough water to use. And as you can see, I've torn the top off of here. I'm going to pour some beans in my hand so that I can have them readily available to just grab and drop and grab and drop. And then let's get right to it. Let's just drop these in the hole. I am literally sowing these beans about 2.5 to 4 inches apart, probably about 3 to 4 inches. And if they don't go down deep enough, I press them in a little bit. The rule of thumb when sowing any seed is to only sow the depth of the hole as long as the seed is. So that gives you an idea. You don't want your seed to get lost in the sauce down in the soil and struggle to be able to come up. Got my handy dandy stick-a-ma-doo right here, and we are going to rough this dirt up and create the row for the beans in the next row. I love how when I tore this limb off, we did some yard work and got some limbs that we cut off of trees. And this one has a little sharp edge that works to my advantage. So I actually keep this stick laying by my garden bed over here. And now we're going to pour the rest of the beans that were in the package in my hand. And I'm just going to start throwing them in, honey. I'm getting a little rhythm going right here in the paint. In the paint. In the paint. Yes, you get a little rhythm and it goes by super, super quickly. I just used the last of the beans in the first package. So now we're going to go for that other pack that was on the table, the Blue Lake 274 beans. Absolutely love these beans. They're a little bit darker green than the contender bean, just for reference, out of the 2 different varieties that I showed you. And we're just going to drop some more and finish out this row right here down to the edge of the bed. Oop, dropped the extra one. Let's move that one over. So like I said before, one of the major benefits to sowing bush green beans versus the trellis ones is that bush beans can be sown rather closely together, maximizes the space that you have in a finite area. Let's open another seed packet. Okay, we needed another pack. Yes, let's go. All right, and then over here, I'm thinking this last row is going to be right here in front of the cucumbers. Got the handy dandy stick-a-ma-doo once more. And honey, this bad boy works. It takes all of the effort out of my wrist, which I deal with a little chronic pain in my wrist from time to time. So it's good to have some homemade tools for gardening. Drag it down and open that soil up and just put a little row. Bush beans, they are so tight space friendly. Just make sure that the soil that you are using in the area is very good soil. All of my garden spaces, containers, and garden beds, which we have a large family garden. This bed is actually isolated from the majority of the rest of our garden. But all of the soil in our beds come from chicken manure and rabbit manure that comes from our homestead, from our farm. And I'm just going to sow the rest of the seeds that's in this packet right here and go down as far as I can go until I run out of seeds. And then I think we're going to kind of stop right there. Let's see. Let me get the handy dandy stickamaroo. I have a few seeds left. And we need to extend that row just a little bit down there at the end. Maybe 3 or 4 more inches. About 6 inches. Yeah. For the seeds that are left. And so when these beans come in, they will be growing up against the shade, the outer shade of these cucumbers. These cucumbers already have about 10 inches in height on them. So by the time these beans are germinating and are growing, these cucumbers will already have started vining and flowering. They will be much taller in a few weeks with the spring rains that are happening, especially here in Mississippi. Comment down below and let me know what part of the world or the country you are in. If you're in the USA, let me know what state and what part of the world if you are not in the United States. So I'm just using the sharp end of the handy dandy stickamaroo, and now I am kind of sweeping the dirt back over the trench that I made for the beans. That was a super easy process, right? If you are a beginner gardener or aspiring to garden, this is a really beginner-friendly process showing you how you can grow yourself some homegrown green beans using that tip and just raking that soil back over the beans. I'm expecting a rain this afternoon, y'all. And you know I'm coming out here. I love being outside during a spring rain. Okay, and that's it. Expecting that rain. It's going to come and further water those beans in. But for now, we are just going to get our water can and lightly put some water over those trenches that we created. Got the lovely water right here. And we're just going to lightly go over all of the spaces that we dropped some beans in, just to kind of pack that soil in so it won't move until my late afternoon rain comes. I'm pretty sure that with our upper 70-degree temperatures today, that some of this moisture will eventually soak down and or evaporate. So that's why I'm not going too deeply. I'm just keeping it moving. In general, it takes a bush bean roughly 10 to 12 days to germinate, poke itself up out of the soil. So we don't have long. Just in a little over a week, we will have some beans poking up. The cabbages will be bigger. The cucumbers are getting big. Those snap peas, honey, will be flowering really soon, and I'm excited about that. Comment below if you have any questions or comments. Like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.